Ready? Okay. I'm calling in this meeting to order, the facilities meeting at 4:33. In attendance, along with myself, there's trustee Sarah Dallas, executive director Scott, and I'm going to mess up your last name.
You don't. Executive Director Scott is fine.
Okay. Melanie Metzner,
That works.
and Rebecca Delgazio, administrative assistant, as well as Adam Feinberg, facility director. So are there any public comments?
There is no public comment for this committee meeting. Anyone from the public that wishes to make a comment are asked to send an email to publiccomment@albanypubliclibrary.org or call and leave a voicemail at 518-290-6905. Please leave your name and address, and public comments will be read during designated times.
Okay, thank you. I know we have an agenda with unfinished business, but I know that this meeting was particularly scheduled so that we can discuss the new business, New York State Department of Library Development and Construction Aid. So I'd rather if we do that first to address that so that all those that are going into another session, at least we would have that complete.
So, Brigitte, if I could just take the floor.
Sure.
We have been awarded, it is not the full 75% that were allotted. We have been awarded about, I believe it was, what was the percentage, 68?
You haven't told me yet, so I don't know.
No, Adam knows.
Okay.
Yes, it's around 60. I want to say 68.5-ish.
So this would not cover the full scope of the project. So that provides two options for us. Either gives us the ability when time comes to scale back the project. There are components of this project that we can either not do or minimize, or we need, one of the reasons why we did this emergency meeting was if we want to do the full project and pay the full amount, then we would need to ask for an amount of money from the finance committee. And you know what I didn't do? The math of how much we would need to ask from the finance committee. So Adam, how much is the monetary award?
So I did the math already. That way it was prepared for us. So the award was $240,184. Total project ask was around 351. Our difference or our total cost to scale back will be 286,646 to get us closer to that award mark, but still over. Did I answer your question or did I totally miss it?
No, that's good.
Okay. So there's three projects here. The one we would back off of is not immediately apparent, needed versus the first two. That would be the boiler removal. What we would keep priority is the HVAC RTU air handler installation for 141 there, and the mechanical room system upgrades. This is pumps, handles, lines, insulation, and that's what comes out. That's the math comes out to be about. Let me look at I keep toggling back and forth.
I made it.
46,000 over award fund.
Hey, Brenda.
Okay, so you're saying that the least impactful to the library that we could hold off for a minute would be the second page there with the Bach Branch in North Albany.
No, Rebecca, can you go to the second page so I can see it, please? Unless it's just my view. So the Washington Avenue, the third line there is the boiler and breaching removal and asbestos abatement. That's right. That's not dangerous to anyone currently. This is all contained in those old boilers.
Okay.
And they're just basically anchors in the room right now. We can leave that alone. It was a matter of trying to get those removed to get out of there and gain more facility space because we are lacking space.
Okay.
So the first two would be the ones that go forward that are closer to the award fund we have.
Okay. All right. Does any other trustee have any other questions?
This is just a statement of fact. I know that Sal's did not spend its full $1 million. I think we spent half of it in our construction grants. And there is that possibility that if other systems were like mine, there would be extra money in the pot. So we could possibly get up to the 75%. And Scott's shaking his head no.
I'm a little concerned to bet on that. I'm more doing math than anything else. So I'm a little concerned about while that's happened in the past, we may get more money, but it may not move the needle. It will probably, what UHLS will do is they'll do it up to another 7%. So that still won't cover the cost of the, it's possible. I'm just a little nervous about going forward with the full project, asking for money out of the capital fund, and then not spending that money when we can hold off.
The other thing is I can't see how we cannot do the air handler. I mean, that has to be done. It has to be done.
Yeah.
And if we don't deal with the mechanical room system upgrades, that could cost us a lot of money on floods and not having heat in the building and other wonderful things. And I know that they can fail after 20 years. And this was done in the 70s. That's just an impetus, or not an impetus, but it's a omen for some very cold days, possibly in the building. If there's money in the capital fund, I highly recommend that these go forward at the 67% or whatever it is. And I'm willing to make a motion to that.
Okay. So we just need a motion to accept the grant. And then if we leave it without asking for more money from the capital fund, then we're good to go forward. We may need to make adjustments in the future.
And just for clarification, there is money in the capital fund to cover these.
Yeah. So the money in the capital, we would have to have the 32% that we need to cover on this project, that needs to come out of the capital fund.
I'm sorry, the two priorities, you're saying that would have to come out of the capital fund? No.
No, those
Right.
remain.
Right.
It's just that we have to recognize that 32% of these, in order for us to accept this grant,
Right.
32%, which is, I believe, $91,727, needs to be matched with the capital fund. So that's what we have to ask from the finance committee out of the capital fund.
And that's really, if I did the math, 75 to 61, is it?
No, that's 68%.
Oh, 75 minus 60 what?
We were granted 68% of the 70 of the total ask.
So we're asking for 7%, the missing 7%.
No, we're not. We're asking for the 32. We're asking for the 32%, but we're also letting the board know we may have to scale back the project.
Okay.
And
Brenda?
what do you mean by scaling back the project?
So every department, every divisional library development grant project, we've had to adjust by the time we get to the work because the quotes come in differently or we can't afford to do certain components of it.
Gotcha.
So it's just acknowledging that there is parts of this project that may not get done due to changes in expenses. And if that happens, then it's going to be the asbestos abatement. Typically,
Right.
So we are going to be submitting the 3.
yes,
I missed that
But it-
memo.
but it's just with the board understanding that we're trying to be very open about this process, that every year we've needed to adjust our projects based on the amount of money that we were getting.
Gotcha. This is Ernie.
Hey, Ernie.
Ernie.
Brenda,
I am.
do you have any comments or questions?
No, I don't have any questions at this time.
Okay.
Well, I did have some, but they were already answered.
All right. All right. Okay. And I'm just, I guess, of course, we have to complete the first 2, as you said, but did the asbestos abatement, I mean, I guess it's not a danger unless it's wet. Is that my understanding?
No, asbestos, it's not airborne. So
Okay,
asbestos,
right.
so if you were to break into where it's at on those boilers, it's called a rope gasket, and that's around the seals when they built those things way back when. And they're in between the ribs. So think of it like a rib cage. If they were to break into the boilers, which are extremely large, between each boiler rib, you have an asbestos laden rope gasket.
Right.
But
So as
it's
long
not
as it's,
harmful sitting there.
so as long as it's not disturbed.
As long as no kids or anybody's in there poking at it, we can make it.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So as Sarah had
Oh, can I ask one more question, Brigitte? I'm so sorry.
Sure.
So what happens if we pull out the boiler completely? Would we get the full 75%?
We would have to go back to them about it, and Tim was very on the fence about it. He says DLD is very particular to a last minute change to an application.
Huh. Okay.
We have been very successful, and I'll give Adam credit. He has some magical charm over the Division of Library Development. But they are, what our experience is, they're much better once the award's been given and you're close to closing out. They're much better with adjustments than they are in the beginning of the application process.
Oh, probably because it has to get through the dormitory authority.
Yeah, it's just, they have always been very good about making adjustments, because I think they realize that projects like this, the prices change significantly.
Okay. Not to belabor the point, Brigitte, I still make the motion to move this forward to the Finance Committee for approval and using funds from the capital fund to make up the difference.
Yep. Thank you. That would have been my line, but thanks.
And it wouldn't be to make up just for clarification, it wouldn't be to make up the difference. It would be to provide matching, our matching
funds. Right.
So Chair Bridget, are you asking for a motion?
Yes, I just have one more question for Scott that we don't have to. So we're not, so you won't, when you go into the Audit and Finance Committee, you won't have to ask for the monies. Is that what?
We will.
Okay.
We will, because the plan was always to use capital funds as the matching funds for construction grants.
Okay, because you gave us 2 options. One, that you didn't have the 75%, that was A plan, and then B.
B plan would have been to increase the amount.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, so now we're just asking to match.
Yep. For the,
Right.
it would have been either we're asking for 32 to match with 32%, as opposed to asking to match to 25%.
Okay. Is everybody good with that? Does anyone have any more questions before we make a motion? Yeah. Okay, so that's the motion to accept the New York State DLD construction grant to provide matching funds from the capital fund. Make that motion. Can we get a first or second? Or I made a motion to bring it to the adult finance, right? Audit finance
I'll
committee.
second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right.
Who do you
And
want
Becky.
first?
I'm sorry.
Becky?
Sarah Dallas was the first, and who then? Hold on.
Yes. She was the first and Brenda was the second. I believe Brenda was the second.
Thank you, team.
Okay.
Okay. So now we'll go back to our unfinished business, the facility plan. I think it was 2 in North Albany. I saw on that the construction to ask for extra monies for furniture for North Albany. For the operation, I guess the school wasn't going for that to add some furniture.
Adam, did you ask for that to get added?
I believe this was not me asking for furniture. I believe this would be Melanie and Rebecca Lubin, possibly. I wasn't talking about. I'm just handling the construction part.
Right. Okay.
And I thought we already asked and had that approved.
Yeah, I believe that was approved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
Maybe some.
During the capital budget, that was approved.
Okay, I see that it says set aside. Right, estimated total 50,000.
Yeah,
It's not.
so we're good there.
Okay.
I think we were just doing an update at this.
Right.
Just letting you know the status of things.
Yep. And then the status of North Albany, that you sent that information prior to that. We were just waiting for there was a delay with the entry door.
Yeah, so currently we're looking at the storefront, which is the new main entrance that's going to be coming in. We've been having some humor about it being gridlocked somewhere on a cargo ship off of Long Island somewhere. But it's going to be a while. That's a true statement there. There are definitely a significant delays globally. And Turner Construction and I were talking just yesterday, actually, and they're just crickets right now trying to get this storefront delivered. The timeline currently, and don't hold it concrete, is November, could go into December, and hands in the air. It's not a good update right now.
Okay.
As far as the rest of the space, sheetrock walls, bathrooms going in, it's looking good. I don't know if you guys have seen the pictures I sent out.
Yes.
North Branch update. I tried to send you guys some photos and so on and so forth, but it's looking good. It's just the storefront is going to probably be the thing that's going to back us up into a longer timeline.
All right. Thank you. And also, I'm going back again. I'm back and forth on my tennis ball here. The facility plan, did anybody have any questions in reference to the timeline? The beginning of last year to December 2025. I know we just discussed some of the other projects. I know Bach was also on your construction plan. So any updates there?
So the Bach plumbing thing, that's currently, it's sitting idle right now. The lack of interest from contractors to come and do the work. We're not in a severely bad spot. There are two, I'm going to lose the word now. It's getting late in the day. Oh God, Scott, what did I call them? They're two, I wanted to say gully, but that's too Ohio-ish from where I'm from. There's two
Oh, trenches.
bellies, that's what it is. So over time, there's been two bellies that have formed underneath the soil and the plumbing. That is not preventing the building from functioning. We're not having plumbing backups that are, debilitating to the facility. So on the two scopes that I've had done, we're okay right now. It's just getting people to be interested to come in and want to do that, because when we do repair that, it's going to be a significant amount of construction, because there's two different locations, one out towards the entrance going to the street and one underneath the bathrooms where these bellies have developed. Right now we're okay, but it's something, that's why you'll see on the timeline, I've tried to push it out because I've had a very minimal interest to try to get people to come in and give me some sort of forward momentum on developing a construction plan for this to get it started. That's complete transparency. Contractors.
Okay. How long, I mean, I don't know if you can foresee that or not. How long do you think before it will become a problem if you don't? Like a year, 6 months?
I think we'll be all right. I think we have at least a year. It could be even go longer. It might not even go to anything becoming major. The concern was initially all the backups we were getting when I came on at the end of 2019 there when I started. And we tuned up the flushometers on the flushers to get more water going out, and we haven't had any backups. Typically with plumbing, when you have bellies or certain angles that get disrupted over time, you're going to want to add water or flushing flow because you need more water to push it all the way out. And some of the times when we have the lean building, they're only using a tiny bit of water, and sometimes you just can't cut off the water flow. So that has remedied the issue currently, but it's not going to go away as far as us getting away from it and forgetting that it's there. It's just getting someone to get the project and be interested in coming in and giving us some actual quotes for it. I've had a lot of dancing around with contractors.
Okay, thank you.
Hopefully that makes sense.
Yep, it does. I'm a small scale in my house. So yes, it makes sense.
Okay, great.
Also, does anybody else have any other questions in reference to Bach or anything on the facility plan? I just wanted to just real quick about Pine Hills, because I know we were doing some kind of cosmetic kind of things up there, switching the children down to, upstairs, and so adding a wall or taking down a wall, anything on that front?
So Pine Hills, we put up the staff office for the managers. There was conversation about them moving kids upstairs, downstairs. Scott's going to be able to answer that. We met one time. That really, that was kind of, I think I would say it'd be safe to say investigating what's the best case scenario for the current layout. Should we even do that? And then the cosmetic work outside, to touch base on the first thing you said. So what I wanted to do there is I'm moving the Pine Hill sign closer to the driveway because the current location is too far into the yard, and it kind of puts a chokehold on our ability at the library to have more programs for the kids. When it's nice out, we don't have a lawn out there. So moving the sign further away towards the driveway, for one, makes it more visible because it kind of sat back in too far into the property. And two, we're going to put some landscaping in, put new grass in there for the kids. And then come springtime, my plan is to make that a nice outdoor workspace, which Lauren and Deanna are very high on. So they can have programs outside, and there's actually a lawn to use. And that's a pretty good bite and positive impact for just some, some cleaning up of the space.
Thank you. Any other?
We decided not to include any kind of change at Pine Hills in this capital ask. So that'll be something that we'll explore in the future, but we know it'll be costly.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you. Does any other trustee have any other questions before we make a motion, or we don't need executive session? before we
I want to
adjourn.
thank everyone for the updates.
Yes, very nice. Thank you so much, Rebecca and Adam, for getting those out to us. It made it a lot easier to have a meeting in 30 minutes. So I make a motion. If does anyone have any other comments to adjourn this meeting?
I move to adjourn the meeting.
A second.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Take care.
Good night.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
All
you.
right, take care. All right, thank you. I guess we're finished at 4:59.